Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rutgers University Homecoming and Alumni Weekend 2020. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Josh Harriman, Vice President for Alumni Engagement, Annual Giving, and Advancement Communications. I have the greatest job in the world. Over the past 7 months, I've had the opportunity to meet and talk with Rutgers alumni from all over the world and from all walks of life. There are many common threads that run through my conversations with Rutgers alumni. One of the strongest, I think, is a belief about what Rutgers is and should continue to be. Rutgers is not only a place, but an experience that changes lives. It does that in a way that celebrates excellence and that includes and welcomes everyone. Our shared values and high achievement help define the Scarlet Forever ideal. Our alumni, like everyone in the global Rutgers community, are also mindful of the uncertainties we're facing right now. It's harder to appreciate all the amazing transformational things going on at Rutgers when you can't visit campus. Even though many of us are social distancing and following strict guidelines, there are still great things taking place here every day on campus. Researchers at Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences continue to make strides in the fight against COVID-19, while world-class healthcare providers in training prepare to join that fight as well. Student athletes from football to basketball to soccer to gymnastics continue to train and hone their skills, ready to compete at the highest levels. And of course, the Scarlet Knights have hit the ground running in Rutgers football, and it's going to be a great season. There's more happening at Rutgers than we could ever describe here, but one development that unifies all of this activity is the presence of a really visionary new leader. I'm honored to be here today with our dynamic new president, Jonathan Holloway. Most of you met President Holloway yesterday evening in our kickoff presentation. In case you didn't join us then, let me briefly introduce Jonathan again. He began his official tenure as president on July 1st of this year. He comes to Rutgers after serving as provost of Northwestern University, and prior to that, dean of Yale College. He is a respected historian and scholar, and a distinguished professor in addition to his role as president. Please join me in welcoming President Jonathan Holloway.
Thank you, Josh, for that lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be celebrating Rutgers Alumni Weekend with you, although we all know in these days with you should be in person, but we can't be, and that's okay for the time being. I hope you all are safe and healthy and your families are the same. This is an unusual and transformative time. At Rutgers, we have an inextinguishable drive to improve the human condition, and this drive is being tested like never before. And in some ways, I'm okay with that because we are going to respond. We're going to respond positively, and we are going to do what we can to make the world better. We've seen that already with the incredible breakthrough with the saliva test led by our scientists, and I'm sure other inventions, other things that will heal us, repair us, make us stronger are coming down the line. Now, at the risk of repeating myself, if you happened to tune in earlier, I thought I'd take a moment to talk about why I'm at Rutgers. I'm at Rutgers simply because I was inspired. I'd had a career at Yale and Northwestern, as Josh just outlined, and was really quite happy. But when I was approached at the possibility of joining the Rutgers community, I had to take a moment to pause. The pause was because I knew Rutgers is such a great and powerful place in my own area of scholarship in United States history, with a focus on the African-American experience. But I knew Rutgers was exciting for other reasons. And those reasons I want to pause to talk about right now. When I think about the great research universities of the world, and Rutgers is in that class, so many of them are filled with people coming from similar kinds of backgrounds, whether it's socioeconomically, whether it is in terms of their educational opportunities, whether it's because they are the second or third to go to college, et cetera. Rutgers is different in so many ways in that regard. It is a place that has opened its doors historically to first generation students, students from immigrant families, students where English is not the first language spoken at home, underrepresented minority students. It has taken the people that other places felt maybe they aren't the right fit for us. It has taken those populations and it has put them in the middle of a great research university and has said, this place is yours, make us better. To me, this is the thing that's so exciting, is that Rutgers is this incredible democratic experiment. And I think in this moment, this election season, a very complicated election season, the fact that we can stand proud about Rutgers' embrace of that democratic experience, that experiment, the fact that we can stand proud that it has delivered on that democratic experiment, the fact that you are back to listen and to learn, which tells me that Rutgers helped transform you in some ways. And I suspect some of the elements of that democratic experiment I mentioned describes many of you, not all of you, but many of you. And the fact that you're back tells me that Rutgers is doing something special. That's why I put my name in the hat to join this community. And since I joined it, I have had confirmation time and again about how special this place really is. After I was announced at the end of January, I returned to Northwestern to finish my term there as provost. And then COVID descended upon the world and things turned upside down in ways I don't need to explain to all of you. We're all living through it. But what was so exciting to me was, or inspiring, I suppose, is seeing the way that Rutgers was responding. Sure, it scrambled. There's a lot of confusion. Every university had to deal with that. But after the initial burst of energy and trying to make sure people are safe, a sense of calm resolve settled into the senior administration. Now, I know how we were handling it in in Northwestern. And I can say what I saw at Rutgers was instructive. It was a recognition like, okay, this is going to be hard, but we've been in difficult places before. This is going to be uncomfortable, but we've managed through uncomfortable times before. This is very uncertain, but we're okay with uncertainty. We've managed that before as well. So to see that kind of resolve and resilience expressed at the senior administrative levels helped me or reassured me that I was heading into the right place, a place that, again, democratic in its possibilities and a place of resolve and determination to deliver on the mission and to deliver an environment in a very fluid situation that was going to ensure the safety and integrity of the population and start to figure out ways to come back. Now, I've been talking about what Rutgers represented to me philosophically, conceptually, and I've talked a little bit about what Rutgers looked like to me from interacting with the senior administration. Now, of course, what I'd love to be able to talk about is to tell you one story after another of my meetings with undergraduate and graduate professional students. Sadly, because we're living in this COVID world, I'm not telling a joke here, I have literally met 4 students in person since I've been here. I don't know what the percentage is when you think about the 70,000 plus students at Rutgers, but it's a pretty small percentage. I know that much math. I've met many more electronically, and like I'm meeting you right now, and that's okay. But I'm chomping at the bit with the students I've met. Their excitement, their energy, their commitment to Rutgers is infectious. Now, I mentioned the idea of Rutgers. I mentioned the staff at Rutgers. I mentioned the students. And now I'm beginning to meet the faculty as well. And there again, lots of exciting ideas, lots of a sense of opportunity about what Rutgers is going to look like as it goes further into the 21st century. These constituencies make up the university, but they aren't all of it. The largest part of the university by sheer headcount is you. And this is one of the ways that great universities become great. This is one of the ways that they chart a path to better the environment, to better the world. They do it through their alumni. They do it through you. I mean, you have made so many extraordinary contributions to the world. And in this way, you embody, I think, Rutgers' missions and values. Now, I don't know all of your individual stories. That would mean knowing more than 500,000 living stories. In time, I'll start to learn as many of them as I can. But I know that you've encountered difficult times prior to 2020, that you've encountered obstacles and you found ways around them. And if you're back here today, it tells me that you recognize Rutgers gave you some of the skills to navigate those hurdles, that Rutgers gave you the wherewithal to manage through a difficult situation. And you're back and you are here to celebrate those accomplishments. And in so doing, I hope, celebrating Rutgers as well. So I want to offer my congratulations to all of the classes that are celebrating milestones today. I want to thank you for coming back. I want to thank you for your generosity. I want to thank you for your belief in Rutgers. I want to thank you for the friendships you've made with one another, because that network is there to support all of us at Rutgers as we go out into the world. And when I do get out into the world on the other side of this virus, I look forward to being in your midst and witnessing these great friendships in this powerful network. But to the congratulations specifically, I want to congratulate the class of 1945. Congratulations on an amazing 75-year journey. The changes you have witnessed in this country alone, let alone the world, are epic in scale. Now, as a historian, I don't throw around words like epic with ease, but you have experienced epic changes. And I hope that you take the time to share your stories with the generations that follow you, so they can learn from your wisdom, learn from your resolve. To the other classes, the class of 1950, 55, 60, 65, 75, and 80, I know you have plenty of great stories of your own to tell, and I do hope that you will share them. You know, actually, I do work in the 20th century United States, and it's quite something to teach students now. Our youngest students, weren't even born in the 20th century. They need your stories. They need your examples of how to be a good citizen. They need your leadership and your guidance about how to do right in this world. Please reach out to them, or when they reach out to you, receive them. Class of 1970, it's your story that we're putting in the spotlight this year as you celebrate your 50th anniversary of graduating from Rutgers. Entering the old guard is a time-honored rite of passage, and you should be proud of every step you took on your journey to this moment and for giving so much back to Rutgers. You're strengthening the university libraries. The historian in me loves you for that. You're helping restore Kirkpatrick's chapel windows to help it return the luster and beauty that you all experienced when you were here. You've made a beautiful contribution to enrich the Rutgers Oral History Project. Again, the historian in me is in your debt for what you're giving back to Rutgers with that gift. Through all of these actions, you have honored our history, and in so doing, helped build the university of the future. So, class of 1970, please accept all of my many congratulations. It is a deep honor to be celebrating you. To everyone here, I hope you will take the example of these milestone classes to heart. And I also hope you'll remember a few key things. As I said before, you are part of a network that is over 500,000 strong. The opportunities of this network are extraordinary. Building relationships, growing those relationships, nurturing them in order to make an impact on the world. An impact in the present and in the future you can't yet imagine, but by doing that work now, you will make something great happen. And it's the same for your relationship with your alma mater. It is my fervent hope that as you build your network and build your stories and celebrate your accomplishments, you will find it in you to secure the capacity to help Rutgers grow and create a better and brighter future. To that end, I encourage you to learn more about Scarlet Promise Grants, which are a key part of Rutgers' transformational impact. On my leading up to my first day as the president of Rutgers, I sought out an answer to my question. The question was, where I wanted to make a donation to help, where can I give my material resources in a way that will have the most material impact on the university in this really challenging moment? The answer came back immediately: the Scarlet Promise Grant Program. These grants offer financial aid and emergency support to talented students for whom a world-class Rutgers education otherwise would be impossible. And I know from experience at Yale and Northwestern that sometimes the difference between graduating, getting your degree, may be a $750 intervention because of an emergency that happens in your senior year and you can't find a way around it because you don't have that kind of money, that's where the Scarlet Promise grant can come in. You are helping by donating to Scarlet Promise, you are helping secure a future for talented Rutgers students so they can go out and do their work to heal the world, to better the world, to improve the world. These Scarlet Promise grants change lives for the better. And again, please consider making your own personal impact stronger by supporting them. Thank you so much for everything you've done for Rutgers, everything you will do for Rutgers. Thank you for staying Scarlet forever by joining us for Alumni Weekend. I really look forward to seeing you again someday soon, I hope, in person, definitely. Josh, I hand it back to you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan, and for those inspiring words. We are so honored to have you here at Rutgers and to have you leading our institution. Now I want to welcome someone who truly personifies what it means to be Scarlet forever. He has earned 2 degrees from Rutgers, a bachelor's degree in economics from Rutgers College in 1997, and a master's degree in business administration from Rutgers Business School in 2003. He is vice president and chief of staff at Prudential Financial, and he also helped pioneer the PRU-RU connection that is turning out to be such a great networking opportunity for so many Rutgers alumni. In 2019, he began serving as chair of the Rutgers University Alumni Association Board of Directors. Please give a warm welcome to Greg Bedard.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here. As the chair of the Rutgers University Alumni Association, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here, to recognize each of the milestone classes on your class reunion year, as well as to thank you for, as each class, your contributions and your support of Rutgers and each of your supports individually. This year, we welcome the class of 1970 into the old guard at Rutgers. Congratulations on your 50th anniversary, class of 1970. In honor of this alumni milestone, the class of 1970 chose to support the Rutgers Oral History Program with a gift of $100,000 to create the class of 1970 Oral History Project, which will document the final year of their Rutgers education from 1969 to 1970. In addition to this initiative, the class continues to fund the Class of 1970 lecture series, as well as the Class of 1970 scholarship, with gifts now totaling more than $50,000. Marking their 75th reunion, the Class of 1945 increased the endowment of the Class of 1945 Crew Shell Fund and Class of 1945 Jack Dempsey Scholarship Fund, with gifts totaling more than $11,000. In honor of their 70th reunion, the Class of 1950 contributed to the Zimmerly Art Museum, also to the Rutgers Oral History Archives, Alexander Library, and the Rutgers Baseball Program, with a gift of $10,000 to each. Commemorating their 65th anniversary, the Class of 1955 increased the endowment of the Class of 55 Scholarship Fund, which has provided financial assistance to 25 students now over the last 15 years, with gifts totaling $20,000 and $20,078. Together, 3 classes, the Class of 1960, celebrating their 60th anniversary, the Class of 1965 celebrating their 55th, and the Class of 1975 celebrating their 45th, gifted a total of $98,000 to the Rutgers Future Scholars Program. These funds will support student programming and the Rutgers Future Scholars Emergency Relief Fund, which offers immediate financial assistance to families of future scholars who are facing challenges, more important than ever in the current environment this year. The Class of 1965 also made a gift of $65,000 to the Zimmerly Art Museum. Their gift will be used to return the museum patio to its intended purpose as a sculpture terrace. The class of 1965 and 1975 made gifts totaling $38,000 to the Rutgers Office of Veteran and Military Programs and Services, strengthening internships and scholarships for student veterans and providing capital improvements to the Veterans House. And the class of 1980, celebrating their 40th anniversary, gifted $17,000 to the Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey in support of the Patient Relief Fund, which helps patients facing financial crises. And lastly, each of our 7 traditional milestone classes increased the endowments of their respective class scholarships with gifts totaling across those class gift scholarships of $74,770. Thank you so much to this year's milestone reunion classes. Your loyal support for the university sets tremendous example for all of us. Please give yourselves a well-deserved round of applause. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Josh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much for being here this evening. It's so great to see how these amazing alumni have come together and are continuing to make their mark and move Rutgers forward. I'm also very pleased to note that in addition to these generous class gift initiatives, the classes of 1950, 1960, and 1975 stepped up to the plate to support President Jonathan Holloway's Scarlet Promise Grants initiative. We'll be sharing more information about that following this event through email. This effort, announced by President Holloway on his first day in office, seeks to raise $10 million for the Scarlet Promise Grants program. These grants go to talented students as part of their comprehensive financial aid packages and to provide emergency support in times of crisis. Now, I hope you're all sitting back and relaxing with your favorite refreshments because it's time for a special video. I know you would prefer to be back on the banks. I can tell you it's a beautiful day here today, but we hope this video helps bring us all just a little bit closer. It features Patrick Gardner, Distinguished Professor of Music and Director of Choral Activities at the Mason Gross School of the Arts.
From far and near we came to Rutgers and resolved to learn all that we can. And so we settled down in that noisy college town on the banks of the old Raritan. On the banks of the old Raritan, my friends, where old Rutgers evermore shall stand. For has she not stood since the time of the flood on the banks of the old Raritan? Then sing aloud to alma mater, and keep the scarlet in the van. For with the motto high, Rutgers' name shall never die on the banks of the old Raritan. On the banks of the old Raritan, my friends, where old Rutgers evermore shall stand. For has she not stood since the time of the flood on the banks of the old Raritan?
I loved that. That is pretty much how campus looks today, but the fall leaves are changing ever so slightly here. That was a beautiful example of the creativity and artistry that happens every day at Mason Gross and across this university. To conclude our event, we would like to honor everyone who has passed away since the last time we gathered on the banks for Alumni Weekend. We remember the memory of those who have passed from our milestone classes with a memorial tribute. I want to thank everyone for joining us and making this such a special online gathering. You are truly Scarlet Forever, and you make the world a better place by supporting Rutgers. Please stay connected and keep joining us at Rutgers alumni events, whether they're online or someday soon, hopefully, in person. Stay Scarlet Forever. Have a great night. Thank you.